You pour your heart into every appeal. What if the returns truly matched that passion? That's the difference a purpose-built giving platform makes. Bloomerang customers aren't just fundraising, they're seeing 27% larger one-time gifts than industry average. They're growing their supporter base by an average of 12% year over year. They're turning passion into unstoppable momentum. Your purpose is limitless. Your fundraising tools should be too. Learn how you can start raising more at bloomerang.co/purpose and profit. Welcome to the Purpose and Profit Club podcast for nonprofit leaders, mission-driven creatives, and social entrepreneurs. Get ready to stop dreaming and start doing. Here, ideas become action. We prioritize purpose and profit. You ready? Let's go. Email fundraising. Boring newsletter or annual ask you dread writing? What if I told you that email is the secret weapon that nonprofits sleep on? That quiet channel is actually your most reliable fundraising engine. So that's what we're going to dig into for today's episode. I'm going to share the 10 strategic ways email can power your nonprofit based on the latest 2025 data, plus details about Easy Emails for Impact, my self-study course, which is opening doors soon with a very special bonus I don't want you to miss. So let's dig into the 10 ways that email can supercharge your nonprofit. All right, number 1. Email is actually a tool to create donations on demand. So if you need $5,000 next week and you can't throw a gala, you can actually fire off a series of high converting emails to bring in that funding. The average nonprofit pulls in about $1.11 per email contact. That's for larger organizations. For smaller orgs, it's $6.15 per email contact. Reason number 2, email is a loyalty builder in the inbox. Email beats direct mail and social media for updates and asks because 48% of donors actually prefer email versus just 21% for direct mail. I want you to think about the loyalty that a weekly or biweekly email creates, the retention, the connection, the stickiness that it creates when you email your subscribers at a better clip with better content than a quarterly update or a year-end appeal letter, okay? The number one reason why donors lapse is, number 1, you didn't ask, and number 2, they forgot about you. So email helps build that loyalty in your inbox very, very quickly and at scale. Speaking of scale, let's move into reason number 3. Email scales intimacy. It's like whispering to 2,000 people all at once. If your story lands, each reader feels seen. So you can't call every single person in your CRM, in your database today, right? If you have thousands and thousands of people in your database or email list, it's impossible. But email is a way to scale intimately. Now I'm going to give you an asterisk. One of the reasons why I created my course, Easy Emails for Impact, is because I noticed that the type of emails that nonprofits were sending were anything but intimate. They were sterile, they were generic, they were formulaic. Those are intimacy blockers, right? I want you to think about the nonprofit leader that gets vulnerable for a second, or the person who maybe shares the icebreaker at a, women's networking dinner, right? Suddenly you feel, oh, that's me too. You feel seen. That's the power of using a little bit of intimacy in email, okay? So you create that connection very, very quickly, but it does require you to ditch the formulaic, generic, old school nonprofit emails from, early 2000. Reason number 4. Email reactivates lapsed donors without you ever having to pick up the phone, send a handwritten note, send a mailer, or another direct mail piece. So I want you to think about your lapsed donors, people who gave last year, but not this year, right? People who maybe even fell off 2-3 years ago as some of your warmest, once engaged folks. Now, you may be saying, Chris, I don't have time. I'm, a solo fundraiser, or we've got our big event, or we've got something else going on. So I don't have time to do any outreach. And what I want to say to you is the cost of acquiring a new donor is way more time than bringing a lapsed donor back. So how do we do this at scale? We use email. We have our clients in Easy Emails for Impact actually put their lapsed donors through an automated series. I like to think of it as build it once, then you can automate it, set it, and forget it. So when somebody is flagged as a lapsed donor, they go through a automated email series to re-engage, reconnect with them and bring them back. And it works. We see retention increase after going through that series. We see people re-engage. Many, many times lapsed donors don't even realize they've lapsed, y'all. They think they probably gave last year, but isn't time such a weird thing? 1 year is actually 2 years. And before we know it, they've forgotten about giving. They think they gave, but they actually didn't give. So when we address that, we remind them who we are, we give them an invitation to take a next step, to give again. We see that convert really, really well. And this is something that you do have an upfront lift for. And then your email marketing tool, you stick this on an automation. Very, very simple. Okay. Reason number 5. Email is so rich with data. In the same, I'm going to do that again. Reason number 5, email is a robust data tool. It is a window, a glimpse into who your audience is, what they like, what they don't like, right? What gets them interested and hyped up. So I want you to think about click-through rates, open rates. Those are all inputs. Those are all data points that tell you about your audience. Those are ways that you can find out more about them, what program or service they're interested in, which ones they weren't interested in. I'm thinking of one of my clients recently who just ran a campaign. And one of the pieces we looked at mid-campaign was her open rate and her click-through rate. Right? Because we knew based on how that was reporting, let's say low opens tells us we have a subject line problem or a preview text problem or a deliverability problem, right? Those are things we can address in the middle of the campaign and right side them. So robust. Or maybe click-through rate. So say you have a high click-through rate, but not a lot of donations coming in. Beautiful. Now we know what to do. We need to take a look at your actual fundraising page. There's a conversion optimization problem there. Now, that might have sounded like a bunch of fancy words, but all it means is when people landed on your fundraising page, they were not moved to click donate. Those are problems we can solve very, very quickly. So when we have the data, it's like we know where to triage, right? We know where to go first. I love it for that. The final thing is the data shows us your evangelists, your super fans. You have maybe never met them before. You don't know them personally. Maybe you're an international organization, so there's no in-person component to what you do. But you know those super fans who read every single email. Maybe they sometimes reply to emails. Maybe they are your superstar supporters where you know they're the first to donate on any fundraiser. Email tells you about them. It shows them. It's like I'm picturing them like waving their hand at you. They're like, me, I'm the super fan, right? So the data is right there in email. Reason number 6, habit herding. Here's what I love about this. Setting a consistent email cadence so your donors and subscribers start opening habitually, not just when you ask. Habit herding is a way to stay top of mind for your email subscribers, right? So that your audience of subscribers, which are not always donors. That's why I'm using different words here, right? There are people on your email list who have never donated before, and then there are donors. Of course, there's both, right? You're setting a habit of you can rely on me. You can rely on me. I'm going to be in your inbox every Tuesday morning, or I'm going to be in your inbox twice a month, every other Friday. That habit creates neural pathways in them where your nonprofit remains top of mind. Think about it. They maybe be subscribed to a dozen nonprofit email lists over the years, right? But when you set that habit cadence for them, it's stickier, it's more connective, it's more intimate. Reason number 7, this may be one of my favorite successes after building Easy Emails for Impact. We've had so many clients experience this. It primes your big asks. So yes, cold calls may be awkward. Warming donors through email storytelling makes major asks and follow-ups so much easier. We've had clients go through the email course and have major donors respond to their emails. Mass emails they sent to 10,000 people, emails they sent to 3,000 people, and so on. But we've had major donors respond to their emails and say, hey, let's book a meeting. Hey, you're on my mind. Hey, can we have lunch? Imagine that. Imagine if email marketing was a tool that booked you meetings so that you didn't have to cold call and like white knuckle your major gift follow up process, right? That's the power of using email the right way. And I really feel like I want to make the distinction between the right way and the wrong way. The wrong way is sterile, generic, boring, infrequent. The right way, the better way, is a consistent email cadence that is intimate, that is fun, that is uplifting, that is uniquely in your brand voice, right? That is the difference there. Reason number 8, email is a campaign multiplier. So you can use email in conjunction with social media or in conjunction with direct mail or some other platform, right? And the two together is where the conversion happens. I like to think of social media as great for awareness and visibility and getting that initial traction, but email is where the money is made. We see higher open rates, higher click-through rates. We see better conversions when we actually use the two in conjunction together. So email is a great way to recapture the intention. So maybe people who visited your site but didn't actually make the gift, bringing them back. That's almost like a cart trigger email we would see in the e-commerce world. So email is great for campaign multiplication. Reason number 9, urgency works better in inboxes. And here's what I mean. Your campaign may have a natural built-in urgency. So this could be a deadline, a matching gift expiring, etc., right? Maybe there's even an event, right? So it's leading up to a specific event date. But emails carry better urgency than a noisy social feed because with social media, you're competing with an algorithm. You're competing with a small amount of your actual followers seeing your content. Email is an owned asset, and you can use that urgency where you actually ramp up the frequency of email for a specific campaign, right? And then kind of taper off as the campaign is ending. Reason number 10, email has almost zero extra cost and is all impact. So there is a small cost associated with your email marketing tool to send emails. Yes, but that cost is a tiny, tiny fraction of what you create. Email is scalable, it is on brand, and works while you sleep. You can create an email welcome series, which I highly recommend you do if you're finding that your first time donor retention is very similar to what we see in the sector, which is 8 out of 10 donors only give one time, you guys. That's terrible, right? You spent all that upfront lift bringing in that initial donor, right? Bringing that first time donor only to see them be one and done. Email can be automated retention machine. So you create a 5 email welcome series. This is what we teach you to do in Easy Emails for Impact. You create it one time and it is rocking and rolling in the background. So email is scalable. It is impact forward. It is creating that connection. It is on brand. And it is working in your sleep. You can schedule it out. We have clients who schedule out email campaigns and go on vacation because remember vacation, right? We have clients who do short email campaign sprints and schedule those out ahead of time. We have clients who are scaling up their emails and able to repurpose emails because did you know you're allowed to repurpose emails? You are allowed to repurpose emails. So it really is a very, very little extra cost and very high on the impact side. And if you're thinking our list is too small, here's what I want to tell you. A tiny engaged list beats any day a cold, massive one, okay? So if you've got 200 people opening emails and giving, that's more than 2,000 ghosts in an email database that are taking no action. So we really do care more about quality over quantity here. It really isn't the size of your list. However, if you're some of the larger organizations listening, and maybe you have between 10,000, 20,000 plus email subscribers, what I want to say to you is you're sitting on a gold mine. You are sitting on an untapped gold mine because the frequency in which you're currently sending emails and the quality of your stories and the lack of conversion campaigns are costing you money, are costing you dollars. So there's so much opportunity if you're over there in this scaled size of your list to tap into that gold mine. We have clients who have used the Easy Emails system, doubled their Giving Tuesday results. We have clients who went from emailing quarterly to emailing monthly and then bi-monthly and were scared. They thought that their email open rates and click-through rates would actually drop. We have clients who have gone through Easy Emails and started at a 20% open rate and shot up between 40 and 60%. That's the norm. That's what we want to see. So we have clients who have reactivated 10% of their lapsed donors in 30 days with a simple re-engagement sequence. The big shift here is realizing that if your organization is an emerging nonprofit or a large established nonprofit or somewhere in the middle, email shouldn't be a side dish. It should be a main course. Even if you aren't a born writer, I wasn't either. You become one through rhythm, testing, and bold honesty and authenticity. That connection will drive donors to take action faster and at higher generosity than organizations who don't prioritize this way to email storytell. So if you're thinking, I know email's powerful, but where do I start? What do I write? How often do I write it? How do I make sure it's consistent? Or I don't have time to do this at all. That's exactly why I built Easy Emails for Impact. We give you the frameworks, we give done for you email templates, the strategic muscle you need to turn your inbox into an income engine. Okay. So go to splendidcourses.com/email to join me for my upcoming webinar. I'll be excited to cheer you on and see you inside. Hey, high achiever. I know your sights are set on ambitious, world-changing goals. In the Purpose and Profit Club group coaching program, you can get the support, motivation, and strategy to accelerate your impact. I like to say it's where the inner work meets big impact and big funding. Go to splendidcourses.com/waitlist and you will be first to be notified when we open up doors, and you'll get special bonuses when you join our waitlist. See you inside.